Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nell Nicole and I'm going to be your astrologer for today. I'm so excited because we get to finally delve back into our moon sign series, which has been on my mind for a long time, but we finally here, okay? So I'm so excited to finally get around to doing, I'm sorry, I just got a new setup and it's like super shaky because I talk with my hands, so let me pull back a little bit. But we get to talk about the Aquarius Moon. I feel like all Aquarius placements get super overlooked, so I'm always geeked to talk about it. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. I'm gonna go over basically the idea surrounding the sign of Aquarius. What is the moon? And then we'll talk about kind of like traits and characteristics that these moon people have. Towards the end of the video, we will get into a couple tips that I have for the collective. They'll be a little bit funny, but we'll get there. So let's go ahead and get started. Capricorn, or excuse me, I just did Capricorn. Aquarius. Aquarius, what do I think of when I think of the Aquarius part of the Aquarius moon? I think of rebellion, right? I think of my grandma used to always say, like, you're so ornery, like basically you're temperamental, you're super sensitive, sort of otherworldly, sterile, right? So super kind of like clean, neat cut, you're over there, I'm over here type of energy. Distanced, unlikely. Usually people say unique, but I find that with Aquarius energy I get more of an unlikely thing that goes with that, and we'll talk more about that. And then the last word that I have is platonic, okay? Because Aquarius energy is all about sort of the individual, and so when they do come into relation with others, it's like, yeah, I can be in the same community as you and we can take care of each other, but that doesn't necessarily mean I have to be, super head over heels or super all about you. Like, I'm in my own space, my own body. And Aquarius really rules having their own sovereignty and being able to make moves how they see fit. So most of the people that they end up in relationships with, there is this closeness, but there's a platonic energy to it where there's still that space enough to let the other person do what they really need to do to feel like themselves, right? All right, so let's get into it. Moon. Okay, what does the moon kind of represent here for this Aquarius person, right? Moon is always going to be our emotions, our feelings. I'm sorry, I got a new camera and I'm looking at myself. Y'all just have to deal with that, okay? So let's just go there. But yeah, so what was I just saying? I forgot. But Aquarius is basically, they take the moon. Oh, excuse me. I was saying the moon is our reactions, how we process things emotionally, how we feel about stuff, right? Where our mood is at. Aquarius takes that planet with all that energy and makes it its own. And so it's not just a moon now, it's an Aquarius moon. So what does that mean? The Aquarius is going to take that moon, and as opposed to feeling about it, it's going to think about it, because Aquarius is an air sign. What do we know about air? Air is all about communication, thought, mental processes, categorizing things, being able to explain it to a person, right? Having that be the main process behind everything that they do. They're going to process it through speech, through words, right? And so the words that I have here for the Aquarius moon is cerebral, because they take everything through that mental, funnel first before it ever even gets down anywhere close to their heart. If they don't care about it enough up here, then they're never going to actually devote enough energy to it to put it here in the heart. Let me see. We've got aloof. Aloof is another word that we always hear associated with Aquarius. I usually disdain it. Like, I really hate that. I'm an Aquarius sun, and I just got so sick of that word aloof after so long, because it's like, I have feelings and emotions and I actually do give a fuck. I'm one of the most passionate people that I know, so it's like it throws people off when they hear that word. But what they mean when they say aloof is really just having that ability to distance yourself from certain things. And it's like, we all know it's a front, we all know it's a fake, because we're all human. Everybody has feelings and emotions. There could be a family that goes through a tragic loss and every person in the family grieves and deals differently. Aquarius is just the person that's not going to be as open with sharing their grief process because it's personal. Fuck. Like, it's not for a show. It's not for you guys. It's something that we really have to kind of sit and put our whole, like your Ayurvedic self, your whole mind, body, spirit into it, and really allow yourself to go through all of those motions, right? Processing things not only on the bodily, physical, but in the mental and in the spiritual realm, to where you can come to oneness with yourself and then go back out and be with people. Aquarius don't like to show up half, like glass half full. I don't know if that's really what I'm trying to say, but yeah, we rather be by ourselves and kind of work on our stuff and fix our stuff rather than show everybody our wounds. So aloof, yes, when we're going through emotional things, right, which is the placement of the moon, that's what we're talking about, they tend to need to retreat, to go and deal with things, because it's not as simple as you think. It's not just let's, you know, talk about it. It's not just, oh, well, let me do this thing and make it better. A lot of times it's them processing, why am I here in the first place? How did I allow this to happen? Because they think they're in control of everything in their life, and they're not. The God complex is really real here. So they feel like law of attraction, like on steroids. Like, damn, if this is happening in my life, I called this set of events to happen. So they're going to go through that whole process of why. Oh my gosh, the scientific process of my emotions, right? Like this video if this is ringing a bell for you or an Aquarius moon person that you know. Let's go through the rest of these words. So detached is another one. I'm kind of touching on that now. They just need to feel like they can, like whatever they're feeling is not going to hurt you. Because let's be honest, when people have feelings and they're like, oh, I'll cry with me, I'll process with you, like half the time they don't want to tell you what's really on their heart because you're going to use it against them or just something, you know what I'm saying? So people just kind of, Aquarius people like to go through things on their own. They don't want you having all that ammo on them. Let's just keep it, call a spade a spade. They're fearful a little bit when it comes to emotions, because let's talk about it. The moon is really soft. It's this not mutable, but it's this ever changing, right? Because it's continuously going through cycles every 2 to 3 days. The moon is, and so it needs to be adaptable and able to kind of like switch modalities very quickly. And Aquarius is a fixed sign. Aquarius is fixed air. So it's not very changing. It doesn't want to go through all of those different motions. And so the moon doesn't like to be here in Aquarius, because Aquarius sort of just wants the moon to perform or shut the fuck up. Like, what is the point? I've heard so many Aquarius risings and moons say, like, what's the point of all those feelings? Like, not understanding how people are, you know, in relationships that may, you know, everybody processes relationships different. You have your friends that you know, like when they're going through something, you can see it on them. That's not the Aquarius moon. They're not going to show. They could have a bad relationship. They're just not going to necessarily show it, because they'd rather be worried about other things, and they don't understand how people internalize things so much. They're not that sign. They're the one that's like, okay, moving that to the back compartment of my mind. What else can I be doing? How else can I socialize, exert my energy? Or they're really depressed, and like I said, they might be going through things. You're just not going to see it. So they tend to like almost like have a fear-based relationship with emotions. There's this because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Saturn is boundaries and restriction. Uranus is rebellion. The Saturn part kind of keeps that rebellious part contained and protected a little bit. There's a cautious energy that goes along with that. So Aquarius moon people don't get themselves in risky situations where they feel like they're gonna, like their emotions are gonna be at stake. They really don't like to put themselves into compromising relationships or anything where they're going to be in the line of fire, because they like serenity, they like peace. They have enough going on in their own emotional bodies concerning their families, their relationships, if they have kids, like that's enough for Aquarius moon. So as far as friendships and, you know, relationship drama and stuff like that, they really rather do without it. And so a lot of times you'll see them it's like, dang, why won't you get with me? And it's like they might not be telling you, but it's because, you know, they know your baby mama crazy as hell. They don't want to have to deal with that. They like you, but they just don't want to have to deal with all that extra shit that comes with you. They don't want to break your heart, so they're not gonna say because you got kids prior, but that's how they really feel. Okay, the last thing I said was I said cautious, and then I said stoic. Yes, because like I said, a lot of times they feel things, but in order to save other people from that blunt truth or that harsh reality, they will hold it back and sort of just leave you ghosted or leave you guessing. Yeah, but stoic in a way of like you can't really read them. They're not gonna be vulnerable. Okay, that's just what it is. So Dang, I just spent 10 minutes just talking about the terms that I use to define Aquarius and Moon. Let's get into a little bit more of my breakdown of people who carry this sign. And I want you guys to know I'm going to post these on my blog, which is on Facebook. It's just facebook.com/The High Vibe Collective. And over there is a place where you guys can go like the page, leave comments, leave posts and stuff. I'll post, you know, just little things here and there. Like when I did the write-ups for the moon signs, I'm noticing I had a lot more to say than I thought I would. And I'm not getting ready to just be reading straight off of here. I'm kind of looking at buzzwords and giving you what I got. But if you want to read through my notes, you guys can find those over there. The link to that is also on my website, nellnicole.com. There's a whole tab that's called The High Vibe Collective. If you click on it, it'll just forward you right on over to Facebook. Hold on. Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about, okay, Aquarius. Let's talk about the fixed air element of it and what that has to do with the modality of the moon. How that changes the perspective or the lens that we see the moon through when it's here. So fixed air. Fixed signs are unmoving. I mean, it is what it is. They're fixed, okay? They like things the way that they like them. They tend to develop a process when it comes to something and really stick with it until they're forced to change, to be quite honest, or until they find a better method. And then even with that, they want to create that same consistency, right? Sometimes fixed signs don't even realize that they need consistency, and Aquarius is really that one because they're ruled by Uranus, right? So let's talk about the rebellious edge that they have. They really like to do things their way. So when you have that Uranus energy there, it is an air sign. These people don't like to be held down by any one idea or another, but they're fixed. So this is how that plays out. Aquarius is going to feel how they feel, and they're not going to change on that. They're going to stay solid down for themselves and the cause that is their minds, right? But the air comes in where they don't take up all the space in the room. They allow other people to also feel how the fuck they feel and won't try to overstep that boundary or require you to assimilate to their thought process in order to be respected. They might not agree with you. They're going to let you know, I do not agree with you. They might even say, I don't really respect your opinion. But at the end of the day, they're still going to show you respect by, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to overstep that boundary, and like nobody can force another person to do anything. And where that comes from is that they keenly understand that you can't make them do a motherfucking thing. You can try all you want, but at the end of the day, like, you might end up making an enemy. You might end up getting hurt. Whatever the case may be, like Aquarius is so gung-ho about whatever it is that they think. And in this moment, or in this instance, we're talking about the moon. So it's about whatever they feel. They're so sure about it that there's going to be that unmoving quality there. And if you decide to argue with them in an effort to change their mind, that's when it becomes a problem. Because I respected you. I didn't try to change how you come in. You know what I'm saying? We might have had a conversation. I might have let it be known where I stand. But I never once said, you know, or tried to forcibly push that on you. So if you even seem like you're trying to push your ideas onto an Aquarius moon, or honestly any Aquarius placement, you're going to see sparks fly, okay? Excuse me, let me just say, a lot of times with these people, I said fearful. Fear a lot of times determines what they do. A lot of times if they feel like they can't contain themselves around you, they will just cut ties. Because they don't like being pulled out of character. They don't want for another person to feel like they even had that much power over them. And so they tend to do a lot of ghosting because they kind of, I love y'all Aquarius moon, but I'm just going to say it. Y'all a little bit scary. Y'all got a little cowardly bone in your body because you don't always want to be direct and say what you really want to say to people. You'd rather just kind of fall off the face of the earth. And it's because they scared to face the problem. Okay, so it is what it is. Because they feel like if you do come at them, they don't know how they might react. So that's sort of like the bottom line of that. I'm checking my curls for the girls. I have to make sure I'm good because on this camera, I don't know, I really can't tell from so far away. So there's that. they give me this quality, like they remind me of the quality of steel. Just very cold, isolated, heavy even. The way that an Aquarius moon feels, if you ever get a chance to actually get into their psyche, to actually get into their mind, they have a lot of heavy, heavy thoughts because they're continuously processing the emotions of all of humanity. They're not selfish people at all, even though they don't even realize how selfish they can be. I'm gonna let that just breathe. In their minds, they're always thinking about everyone else. And so they tend to kind of put things on themselves energetically because they don't always even really take responsibility for things in real life. Like, let's be real. Like, it could be very practical matters that need to be taken care of, say around a house or just whatever in life. Aquarius moon is sometimes so into the cerebral, so in their minds that they neglect deadlines. They neglect society's, you know, sort of like processes and timing. But what was I gonna say? I can't even remember what I was saying. But yes, oh no, because they're processing so much all the time. They're always making all the problems their own and trying to sort of like conceptualize a way or figure out a way that they can solve multiple problems at once. And it's like, just slow down. You don't have to do all of that. Get present. Come into the reality of the tangible world. So earth sign friends really help Aquarius moon people sort of balance that energy out because they can be super, super in their head. Fire sign people are going to make it worse. Even though you're super compatible with fire sign people, they kind of almost don't give you enough grounding. So you really need somebody that's going to pull you back down and get you to get those ideas out, okay, and onto something where you can present it somewhere to someone. They like to deal with people with a 10-foot pole. That goes to our cautious, fearful side of this moon placement. They may have a weird sort of distant relationship with the mother as well. Dang, Capricorn moon, I forgot to talk about relationship with the mom. We might have to do just a mother video, or I might have to just do all the signs in one video. But anyway, Aquarius moon people tend to be a little bit detached from the mother. A lot of them were born via cesarean way back in the day. Like, it's still not the best way to have babies, but back in the day it was even worse. And so there's a lot of birth stories where you hear about the parent, you know, having that emergency cesarean and then not having that skin-to-skin contact with their baby afterwards, and it leaves this sort of distance stain or whatever you want to call it on the relationship. So if you do have an Aquarius moon, you have a mother with an Aquarius moon, you have a child with an Aquarius moon, make that extra effort to just do that one-on-one bonding with them, because as they grow older, they might not realize it, you might not realize it, their relationship toward mothering may be affected, and that might be why they're so fearful of showing people themselves, because they don't think other people can nurture those feelings and give them a safe space to fall into. All right, so let me just make sure there's nothing else I want to say. Sometimes they can even pride themselves on coldness and not being like emotional at all, but that's just a cry for help. It is what it is. Yeah, they like to try to act like things aren't that serious. But if they do love you, they'll treat you like a friend. That's the thing that you got to know about Aquarius energy, is respect and love are one and the same. And if they have those for you, they're going to treat you like a near dear buddy, okay? They're going to ask your opinion on things. They're going to want to know what you think about stuff. They're going to really want to spend time with you even, because Aquarius is the #1 sign that's like trying to like get away from everybody. So if an Aquarius wants to spend time with you, they must really fuck with you. So let's get into the men versus the women. Y'all's is really funny. I have to say, some of these I took more on the serious end than others. But let's just go ahead and get into it. For the Aquarius moon men, the #1 thing I want you guys to know is acting like you do not care about something will not just magically make it go away. Okay? I just want you to know that. I just want you to know. I want you to know. Just because you pushed it back into the recesses of your mind doesn't mean that that situation has just absolved itself. People still are, you know, in that situation, thinking about it, feeling about it, living everyday lives. Just because you know, take all of the energy out of something doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't left an impression on other people. Okay, so, and I would encourage you guys to stop avoiding your problems. Please find a way, especially as the men and the masculine energy. That's not just like a chauvinistic thing that I'm saying, but I'm saying energetically, in order for you to really identify with yourself, to be able to stand in your power, you've got to know how to exert that, the healing energy that can be Aquarius delivering the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times people say Aquarius is known for being blunt, and that's why you guys tend to fall back a little bit, because it's like, dang, I'm either gonna give it to you whole or give it to you no. You know what I'm saying? But there is a way that you can temper yourself. You just have to care enough about the feelings of other people in order to bring that out of yourself. But you've definitely got it in you. So again, tip number 2 is, again, avoidance only exists in your mind. Like, when you do that type of shit, you're the only one that's being affected by it. It's just like, you know, what did they say? Like, thinking badly about somebody else's poison your mind, not theirs. Like, when you don't deal with shit, that's only gonna compile it down for you. Okay, so it's gonna end up coming out in other ways that are gonna be more fucked up. Like, if you study the actual body and you know, energetics and stuff like that, like, you know that wherever you put the most attention, like if you hold anxiety, you end up developing stomach and heart problems. It just is what it is. So don't keep pushing things down and just like trying to clear the slate by avoiding shit. And eventually it's gonna show up at your front door. All right, so that's all I've got for you guys, really, honestly, truly. Just try to show up more for the people that you love. Don't be so pulled back and pulled away to the fact that you lose sense of time and reality and stuff like that. Like, there's a real world that's going on, and we need you in it. We really do. So please try to come back to us a little more often, okay? All right, so women, I just want y'all to get more in touch with yourselves, okay? I don't know what that means for you. That could mean meditating more. That could mean, you know, dancing. That could mean, you know, getting more in touch with yourself sexually. That could mean reading more books. That could mean finding friend groups that you can incorporate yourself into, you know, where people share the same interests as you, and you can sort of grow, develop, and discover more about yourself. But I do not need you isolating, and I do not need you disassociating. Those are the 2 things that I notice a lot with Aquarius Moon women. Men too, but I'm more so worried about my women, because we already are internal creatures. We already take a lot of what's going on the outside and sort of try to measure that up to who we think we are, who we see ourselves to be on the inside. And so with you guys being such an air sign, okay, within this moon conversation that we're having, I don't want you guys to be so caught up in the research, in the thought processes, in the psychology of things, to the point where you start to neglect your body, to the point where you start to neglect the being present, right? Where you neglect relationships. Because I notice with the women, y'all can be really isolated when you want to be. So yes, find ways to like excite your life and not be so, I don't want to say down in the doldrums, because I don't want to assume that you guys are all depressed, but I'm just saying, don't let yourself get too far over into that realm of like emo girl, like, oh, woe is me, I'm all alone type of energy, and just find some people to connect with your own body, connect with your own power. So when you come around people, you don't do that thing where you kind of like try to humble yourself so much. You actually can like be, yes, I am the Aquarius Moon, I'm weird as fuck, and what about it, bitch? All right, so next, we all love you. We love you so much. Please come out and play. This is like the same thing I said with the guys. I think that sometimes Aquarius placements and energies, like when they feel away, you know, depending on what phases they're going through in life, they tend to pull back and go into themselves and disappear. Aquarius is known for the disappearing act. So show up. We want to see you. You don't necessarily always have to be so super mixy like some of the other signs, but like show up when it matters, okay? And then as you get older, you will connect more with how you feel. The whole thing is you need to learn how to put it into action. Again, Aquarius placements tend to feel a little bit ostracized, a little bit, you know, they could even be bullied, especially in their younger years when they're not sure sure about who they are, what they are, how they fit into the world. You're so super unique that other kids can pick up on that, and they can be kind of mean about it. Or even if you don't understand yourself, you could be looking at yourself and looking at everybody else like, damn, I don't relate to these motherfuckers. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. What happens is, as you get older, you start to realize how rare you are. You start to realize how much your energy is actually needed, because it's unique. It's not out here. It's few and far between, okay? And so I want you to know that as you get older, you will start to connect more with how you feel. You will start to be able to identify the things that you care about, the things you want to put your energy behind. And from that, I want you to learn how to put those things into action to be of service to others. This is what the Aquarius energy is all about, all right? It's going to be the same for the guys too. I'm not trying to leave y'all out. It's just, you know, it is what it is. I feel like Aquarius, Aquarius men, y'all do need to know that, because y'all be going through a lot of changes too. Aquarius Moon men, y'all isolate when you don't understand things, and I get that, but just give yourself time to grow. Give yourself time to understand who you are and how you can be of service. I always tell everybody that, but especially for you guys, being of service to others is going to be like directly linked to your blessings. And so a couple of tips that I have for both of you guys is, it's funny because I am me, right? The first thing I put is figure out ways to spend your time being of service to others. The second thing is create a safe space to express your emotions and reflect on them. That's something that you got to do on a personal level before you can start doing it with other people or showing other people how that's done. Journaling, you know what I'm saying, music, poetry, dance, like I said, is a good way to self-express. It could be 1,000 different things. It could be painting, it could be creating websites, it could be, I don't know what it is, but you guys need to have a space that you can go to just specifically to get in touch with your feelings. Create some playlists that resonate on different frequencies for yourself. I don't know. And then when you feeling away that day, just put it on and really feel that shit, let it out, and move on and go do whatever else you got to do. But give yourself time to process. Don't just keep putting stuff down and thinking it's going to go away. And it's even better if you can write something out and go back and reflect on it later. I like to do that about every 6 months to a year, just to see, like, you know, what type of progress are you making. And Aquarius are super humble, so we never give ourselves enough credit. You need to do that. Just trust me. Third thing is, being in isolation does more harm than good after so long, my baby. So it goes back to the first thing I said, which was come out and play. We want to see you, okay? Quit tripping off little stuff. Like, nobody, I promise you, nobody's worried about the little shit that you think people are worried about. Aquarius Moon, a lot of times y'all get emotional about stuff, and we're just like, we all just want to love you, and we don't expect you to be perfect. I need y'all to know that, okay? So that's pretty much all I've got for you guys to sign. If any of this rung a bell for you, please leave me a comment down below letting me know what it was that you just so identified with. I love reading you guys' comments after these videos. If you would like a personal reading with me, and like the video, my bad. If you like a personal reading with me, you can go to nelnicole.com to get that. I think it's book a session or book a consultation. I have astrology readings up there, as well as tarot readings. You can find everything. Other than that, I love you guys so much, and thank you for joining me. Make sure that you share this video with another Aquarius Moon, okay guys? And I'll see you next time. Bye.